Shalom, Yasharala, and Gawayam. Welcome back to Edifying Topics. From this point on, each video will get better and more informative. If you have missed any of the previous episodes, make sure to go back and watch them. Before we get to our topic, allow me to share some verses.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, and nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. I guess we can say history loves to repeat itself. The topic for episode 2, There is Nothing New Under the Sun, part 1. In today's society, some of us like to believe that current trends are new. However, when you take a look into our history, you will find different. In fact, you will find that your current trend is nothing new at all. What historical collection of records are more credible than our beloved Bible? What if I told you the same behaviors we witness today has already happened? Oh, you don't believe me? First, let's have a look at what trend I am referring to.
Men in this town compete to find a husband because of man shortage. Don't
Brazil. Yeah, man, we out here in Brazil, man. My first day out here in Brazil, man. I couldn't wait to get these Cabrinhas, man, you know what I mean?
Oh, que delícia!
For real, you hear me? Yeah, man. Yeah, man, out here in Brazil, man. You know, it's what we do out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know, y'all need to get out here, man. Get your passport. You know what I mean?
That you need to quit trusting women so much. I have a chick in Colombia, and I have a chick in every country I've been to now. I got a chick in Colombia. We keep in touch, but we don't talk every day. I know she's messing around with other dudes, whether she wants to admit to it or not, and I also don't care.
Oh, nice to have you. I'm just, showing you the key to, a way fun of living than where you is now. If you want to live life like that, go get you one of those, man. I'm tired of telling y'all, you feel me? But, this is my way of encouraging y'all to go have fun.
Fun, they call it. The folly of these heathen passport bros is nothing new at all. Allow me to introduce the heathen port bros of the Old Testament. Now that we have met Shamshawan, aka Samson, Dawad, aka David, and Charlemagne, aka Solomon, let's look at what makes them passport bros and how things turned out for them. I will be paraphrasing these stories. If you do not know them, go and read them. I will show the book and chapter where you can find them. I am paraphrasing to keep the video short. Heathen lover number 1, Shamshawan. Shamshawan, heathen name Samson, born a Nazarite from the womb. His mother could not drink wine or strong drink, couldn't eat anything unclean or eat anything of the vine. Once conceived, they could never take a razor to his head. His locks is where he bore his strength. Act 1. Shamshawan sees a Philistine woman in Timnath that he likes. He asks his parents to get her for him to marry. His parents ask, is there not a woman from the tribes that you can marry? Shamshawan wants what Shamshawan wants. Shamshawan kills a lion with his bare hands. Shamshawan later finds honey inside the dead lion. Shamshawan eats honey and gives some to his parents. They don't know that he's feeding them out of a carcass. Shamshawan throws a feast for his new lady, the Philistine heathen. He also tells a group of Philistine guys a riddle. If they can't solve it in 7 days, they will owe him a wager. If they do, he will pay them the same wager. Riddle is, out of the eater comes forth meat, out of the strong comes forth sweet. They could not figure it out, so they go and threaten Samson's Philistine lover. She's told if she doesn't get the answer for them before the deadline, they will burn her and her father with fire. She cries to Samson, but he doesn't tell her the answer. She keeps the Karen tears going until the 7th day, and he finally tells her. She then goes and tells the group of Philistine men. They tell Shamshawan the answer. He's furious because he knows they use foul play to get the answer. He goes and unalives 30 other Philistines to pay the wager. The Philistine woman's father gives her away to a companion after Shamshawan leaves for a while. Later on, Shamshawan, aka Samson, goes to the Philistine woman's father's house around harvest time to lay with her. The father doesn't allow it and tells Samson that he gave her away to his companion because he thought Samson hated her. The father then tries to give his younger daughter to Samson. Samson flips out and sets the Philistines' field on fire, using foxes with their tails tied together with rings of fire. The Philistines find out that it was Shamshawan who set the fire, and burns the woman and her father with fire anyway. Shamshawan avenges them even though they did him wrong. He unalives the group of Philistines and take cover in a cave at the top of Edom. The Philistines camp outside of Yahawada, aka Judah. 3,000 men from Yahawada go and confront Samson. He lets them hand him over to the Philistines. However, Shamshawan, after Yahweh comes upon him, picks up the jaw of a donkey and unalives 1,000 Philistines with it. He goes on to judge Yasharallah for 20 years. Act 2 of Shamshawan. Shamshawan goes to Gaza and lays with a harlot. Paying for women is nothing new also. The Gazites find out that Shamshawan is there and plans to ambush him in the morning. Shamshawan dips out at midnight. You would think that Shamshawan by now would get the memo that the heathen women are bad for him. Act 3, the final act of Shamshawan. After Shamshawan tears down the gate of Gaza to flee from the Gazites from being with the harlot, Shamshawan finds himself falling for another Philistine woman, this time Delilah in Sorek. The Philistines come to her and offer her 1,100 pieces of silver each to entice Shamshawan and find out where he gets his strength. Delilah asks Shamshawan and he lies to her 3 times. To speed this up, after trying each lie that he told her, she hits him with the "How can you say you love me when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me 3 times and have not told me where you get your strength." After constantly pressing and gaming him, Shamshawan finally cracks and tells her, "There has never been a razor to touch my head. I have been a Nazarite unto the Elohim from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will leave me and I will be like other men." She goes and tells the Philistines and they pay her. Then she goes back in and gets Shamshawan to fall asleep. They shave his head. Then she yells, "Shamshawan, the Philistines are upon us." Shamshawan rises and notices that Elohim is no longer there. His strength is gone. The Philistines take away his eyesight and throw him in prison in Gaza. Later his hair grows back. Long story short, they brought him out of the cell to mock him as they were sacrificing to their false idol. They placed him in between the 2 pillars holding the building up. Shamshawan asks Yahweh to give him the strength one more time so he can avenge his 2 eyes and die with the Philistines. The Elohim heard him and Shamshawan pushed the 2 pillars and unalived thousands of Philistines and himself. To read the full story of Samson, go to Judges chapter 13. It's only 4 chapters and it won't hurt you to read. For Heathen Lover number 2, this is going to be a quick one. For Dawad, Heathen translated name David pretty much is the favorite of our Abba Yahweh. He feared the Elohim as we should fear him and love him with all his heart. Dawad, the son of Jesse, who's the son of Obed, whose father is Boaz from the tribe of Yahweh. Oh, we can't forget about Dawad's mother, everyone's favorite Moabite, Ruth. Dawad goes on to kill Goliath with a slingshot and a rock. Yeah, he's that guy. He shortly becomes the second king of the children of Yasharallah. David defeats the Philistines and conquers other kingdoms. Let's get to where our heathen port bro takes a turn for the worst. Allow me to go to 2 Samuel 11:2. And it came to pass in an eventide that Dawad arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman very beautiful to look upon. Notice I skipped the word was in this verse. The word was is not in the transcript. It's a filler word to supposedly make it an easier read. All the words that you see in italics are not in the original transcripts. They have been added to the text. Okay, next verse. And Dawad sent and inquired after the woman and said, not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite. As we see in verse 3, this Canaanite woman is married. Next verse. And Dawad sent messenger and took her, and she came in unto him. And he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanliness, and she returned unto her house. Okay, it's paraphrase time. Bathsheba ends up pregnant, and she gives word to Dawad that she is with child. Dawad tells Joab to bring Bathsheba's husband Uriah the Canaanite, who is a loyal soldier to Dawad. Uriah comes to Dawad. Dawad asks Uriah about how the war is going and how the army is doing. Basically, small talk. After the small talk, Dawad tells Uriah to go home. Uriah leaves out, and Dawad sends a contribution behind him. However, Uriah didn't go home. He slept outside the king's door with some of the other servants. Dawad gets word, then says to Uriah, aren't you back from a journey? Why didn't you go home? Uriah, aka Uriah, said unto Dawad, the ark, Yasharal, Yahweh, Joab, and the other servants of the king abide in the open field in tents. Should I go home, eat, drink, and lie with my wife? As long as you live, your soul live, I will do no such thing. Super paraphrase time. Dawad later feasts with Uriah and gets him drunk. Uriah still doesn't go home. In the morning, Dawad sends a letter to Joab by the hands of Uriah. In the letter, Dawad tells Joab to place Uriah in the front line of a heated battle, then fall back so that Uriah will be killed. Joab does as Dawad commands him. Uriah dies. David moves in Bathsheba and marries her. Yahweh is angry with Dawad. Yahweh makes the child ill, then it dies. The Elohim also curses the house of Dawad for generations to come. Dawad afflicts himself until the child dies. Yahweh ends up finding favor in Dawad again. Dawad doesn't anger the Elohim anymore. His household is still cursed. To read more on David, start at 1 Samuel 16. Heathen Lover number 3, Charlemagne, the heathen port bro of all heathen port bros. Charlemagne, aka Solomon, the later offspring of heathen port bro number 2, and Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah the Canaanite. Charlemagne beseeched the Elohim for wisdom so that he can judge the people. Since that's all he asked for, Yahweh made him the richest and wisest man in the world. Let's jump to 1 Kings 11 and start from the top, verses 1 through 13. Remember, we will not be reading the words in italics simply because those words are not in the transcript, just to show you how the scripture actually reads. Verse 1, But King Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, Hittites, of the nations which Yahweh said unto the children of Yasharel, Ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you. Surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Charlemagne clave unto these in love. Verse 3, And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Verse 4, For it came to pass when Charlemagne was old, his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his Elohim, as the heart of Dawad his father. Verse 5, For Charlemagne went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Verse 6, And Charlemagne did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and went not fully after Yahweh as Dawad his father. Verse 7, Then did Charlemagne build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that before Jerusalem, and for Melech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. Verse 8, And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burned incense and sacrificed unto their gods. Verse 9, And Yahweh was angry with Charlemagne because his heart was turned from Yahweh Elohim of Yasharel, which had appeared unto him twice. Verse 10, again, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which Yahweh commanded. Verse 11, wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon,
Forasmuch as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding in thy days I will not do it for Dawad thy father's sake. I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, will give one tribe to thy son for Dawad my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake which I have chosen.
The Elohim also raised up adversaries against Charlemagne due to his folly. If you would like a more in-depth reading of King Solomon, read 1 Kings. The heathen port bros of biblical times aren't the only ones that are being punished for their iniquities. The ones of today's time are as well. Check out some of these clips.
Of course, Austin is used to getting hate from American men, which is crazy, American women, which is understandable. But the crazy part is, I did not shit on anybody. I didn't say anything negative about anybody. I didn't bring up American women. I didn't say anything bad about Brazilian women. I never say anything bad about Brazilian women. I came to Brazil to be with Brazilian women because I love Brazilian women. But I make content about this, and I'm traveling around the cities in different parts of the world to show people. I don't say negative things about Brazilian women. Surprisingly, these must be Brazilian feminist women. One of them, and I'm gonna post a comment here. I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna show you. These women say that they have went to the local women's police station. I didn't even know those existed, but the women's police station to report me. There's a woman, or I don't know, that says, I hope that you catch a bullet in your head, you effing gringo, or something like that. And I'm like, bullet in the head? For what? Why would either me or the female get shot? You know, what kind of threat is that? And that was like, wow, like there's some people, and I know it's just the internet. People, it's easy to say that online. You know, it's very easy to say stuff like that online. That's part of the internet nowadays.
She did. Yo tengo toda tu información. Yo tengo toda tu información.
Caught red-handed. Policía. Lock him up.
Her real name is Cecilia, but she goes by all different kinds of names on Tinder. This is her and her gang in an elevator after a successful robbery, in which they use scolopamine to drug the victim, which makes the victim sleep while they ransack the entire apartment, stealing all his valuables and all his belongings. So we're gonna find her, and we're gonna set our own traps. So you think it's not worth it? We should lay down and take the L? Now just imagine it was your brother, your father, your sister who died from scolopamine.
Right.
Will you take the L then? We did our research and we found Cecilia posing as Valeria, looking for another victim.
You know what's crazy? Let me just pause this real quick. Look at the size of her back here in comparison to the size of her back as we see it in the goddamn video, all right? That's a large-backed woman right here, but you see they are the master of the angles. This is why it's important to talk about this, because generally what I see in the Passport Bros videos, they often talk about the positives, It's also important that we talk about the negatives as well, all right? There's a lot of y'all that go over there just think that everything is hunky-dory. You got on your rose-colored glasses, right? And then you are getting yourself into situations that allow you to get set up. And within my life, as I've traveled as well, I have been looking at situations in front of me and said, this feels like a setup. And I'm talking about when I went abroad.
And right now they're already telling my boy we should drink. So you know what that means, guys. And like, if this is true, if this is her, guys, I'm already having a cop here. I'm gonna pay a cop to come with me. And we're just gonna bring him to this apartment and we're gonna show them what it is.
Wow, this video is long. This wraps up part 1 of There's Nothing New Under the Sun. Stick around for part 2. Ladies, you're up next. Leave these heathen women alone, Akyam. Mess around and be eating something abominable.
គាត់ឃើញអត់ឃើញណាបងប្អូនណានេះទៅបាត់ឡើយ
He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Kwam Yasharala Shalawam.